This game is just a masterpiece. I'm going to be honest right now, Expedition 33 is probably one of my favourite games ever. It's literally up there with The Witcher 3 with me. I don't even know where to start because literally every aspect of this game is just amazing. But let's start with the music because, that's sort of the first thing that I instantly liked when I opened up the game. Literally, as you open up the game, you'll hear this classical music, which is honestly just amazing. It sounds really good. And it's not just the menu or when you open up the game, it's literally throughout the whole game you can hear this amazing classical music.
In your veins, it will be blood of your life.
Music honestly is just as good as like The Witcher or even like Halo, to be honest. And obviously it does change with like different parts you go to, and obviously when you're in combat, different fights you go in. To me, music really is one of the most important things in a game. It really makes you sort of more immersed into the game, and Expedition 33 has really done that. And that does bring me on to the immersiveness of the game. Like honestly, Expedition 33 is one of the most immersive games I've ever played. Like literally every single area of the game has its own uniqueness, and the scenery in the background just looks incredible. Honestly, like when you're walking around, you just want to look like at the background and like just while you're walking, because it just looks crazily good, honestly. And it helps making you feel immersed when like the graphics in this game are literally incredible, and it is probably one of the best graphics I've ever seen in a game. And I know I keep saying like this is probably one of the best like in a game, but it literally is. And it's not just like the graphics or the scenery that are so good, but it's the cutscenes too. The cutscenes honestly are just out of this world.
Which expedition are you from? Fall back!
You might as well just be like watching a movie. Like some parts, some of these cutscenes are like 10 minutes long, but they are so good. It's like you're watching like a series or a movie. Like you can literally get so into it, and that brings me back to like the immersiveness as well. It just makes you feel more immersed into the game and into the story. And the story of Expedition 33 is interesting but also different at the same time. Like I think they've pretty much just made this story up, and they've gone with their own lore, because I don't think this has come from like any other book, any other movie or anything like that. So it's literally just like a start of a new story and their own lore, which is really good. It's quite incredible really. Like this has come from nothing. I also really like the theme of the game. Like it's really high fantasy, but at the same time it can be really dark. But I also like that it's sort of based in France, in Europe, because I like that they wore sort of like traditional clothing and all that, which I do really like. But, I don't, usually I don't really like high fantasy and sort of the theme like this, but I like the way they've done it. And also I like that it can be dark at the same time, because normally I do prefer more realistic type of games, like sort of like The Witcher, where it is more based off like medieval times, but it has a little bit of like fantasy with like magic in that, but it is really gritty and dark how it used to be sort of back in medieval times. But this is, as I said, really high fantasy, but I think they've done it that well that I really like it. I also really like all the characters in the game, and that sort of including like the protagonist you play is a really cool character. Obviously not as good as like Geralt or anyone like that, but like he's a really good character. Geralt's really hard to beat. But also all the other characters that like are with you, who you can play as well. Really all interesting characters, but also the characters that you come across in the game, like who you meet, like they're all different and all unique. And also all the dialogue in the game are just amazing.
Fantastic. Good luck, mes amis. Please bring Flori back to me.
That brings me on to the bosses in the game as well, because every single boss you come across are all different and unique, and they're all really interesting, to be honest. It makes you like want to fight the next boss because you just don't know what's going to come up, because they're just all so different and unique. And you know, some can be really hard and difficult, some not so hard, but like, you know, as I said, you want to see what the next boss is because they're all so different. And the combat in the game is not your typical RPG game combat. It is turn-based sort of system combat, which honestly I thought I would not like. I've sort of never really played a game that's sort of turn-based style combat. It's always been sort of like the typical RPG like The Witcher, Skyrim, whatever like that. So, you know, I honestly thought I wouldn't like the combat, but the combat is so fun. Like, I really enjoy it, and this is so coming from someone who never really plays or would even like turn-based like combat. I love how like every single character you play has like different skills and different abilities. I like that, but also they just don't have different skills and abilities. Like, you can link them together, so one character can sort of do one ability that will help like another ability in like another character that will make it stronger, stuff like that. And it's really fun to just sort of link them all up. Then you've got the free roam in the game. Like, this is not your typical game where you can just sort of roam around, go wherever you want. So sort of every single area you go in, you're sort of blocked off. You sort of got to go one way, but then you sort of can branch off. So like, you can go sort of left one way, which will be like the story, and if you go right, you can sort of explore a little bit, but then you've got to go back to the story like area. So, you know, it's not as much free roam as like a normal RPG, but you know, you can do a bit of exploring and try and find something, because it is worth exploring, because you can find like different tints and different like stuff and different bosses that will get you like stuff in the game, which does help, to be honest, like with your characters and fighting enemies in the game. So it is worth exploring, but it is fun when you're out of the areas. So when you're out of the areas, you can literally see every single area in the map, and you can come across like these funny like areas. So there is like this area where you can literally play like side games like volleyball and all that, which is quite funny. So, you know, you can come across with like little areas that are literally just for fun as well. So that sort of is, when you're not inside an area, that is sort of completely free roam. But when you're in an area, it's sort of not completely free roam, but you can explore on your own a little bit to like find extra stuff and cool stuff, which, as I said, it is worth exploring, to be honest. I don't have a problem with this. I don't wish it was as open as a normal RPG, because I literally love every single area you go into. Like, they've got its own uniqueness and they're all different, and they're literally, every single one has like amazing views and scenery. I'm going to be honest, I haven't been into a game like this in years. Like, I've been choosing to play this over Oblivion Remastered, and I've really enjoyed playing Oblivion Remastered, but this game has got me hooked, and I'm choosing this over Oblivion, which honestly is crazy to me, because I love Oblivion, but this game is just unreal. This game is a masterpiece. I could go on about literally every part of this game of how good it is. I can't find any bad things to say about this game. Even stuff that I don't really like in games, I like in this game. This year is going to be crazy with games, to be honest. There's already games that are released that are really good, and there's games that are like going to be released that is going to be really good. But this has to be Game of the Year. What tops it off is, I'm pretty sure this isn't a full price game. I'm pretty sure the game itself is like £40, which is cheap nowadays for a game. So if you haven't played it, honestly, you've got to play it. You won't be disappointed. And if you have played it, do you agree with me what I've said? Or don't you agree with me? Like, to be honest, I think a lot of people agree with what I've said, because the reviews are like absolutely crazy and probably one of the best reviews like ever in a game. But, you know, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? What things do you like and what things don't you like?